This was my life in Warzone. Every single match.
What?
Does this sound familiar?
Oh, are you joking? Dog, are you joking?
I felt like I was spending more time in the pregame lobby and the gulag than the actual game. I would land, maybe find a gun that wasn't a total pea shooter, and then bam, kill cam. Again and again. I was getting absolutely wrecked, wondering what just happened. And honestly, I was about to just uninstall the game. But instead of blaming lag or hackers, I decided to focus on 3 changes to how I played. These are the things that took me from being a first round exit fodder to actually outplaying and feeling confident. So in this video, I'm gonna show you what they are, step by step, so you can actually start getting better. Step 1 is the foundation. Your settings, they're lying to you. Before I could even think about winning a gunfight, I had to fix what was happening behind the scenes. And let me tell you, the default settings in Warzone can feel like they're actively working against you. My game was blurry, and I couldn't hear any footsteps until they were already using my back for target practice. Fixing this was the first, and maybe the most important change that I made. It's not flashy, but it's the bedrock for everything else. First up, let's talk visuals. The biggest game changer is your field of view, your FOV. For a long time, the default on console was locked low, around 80, which feels like you were playing with blinders on. Now, most good players on PC and console crank this way up, usually to a sweet spot just between 100 and 110. This isn't just about seeing more to your left or right, although that is a huge advantage for stopping flankers. A higher FOV also makes visual recoil way less jumpy because your screen isn't shaking as much, at least relative to how much you see. While you're in there, do yourself a favor and go into your graphic settings, turn world motion blur and weapon motion blur completely off. They are meant to look cinematic, but in a shooter, all they do is smear your screen and make it harder to track targets. You want clarity, period. Just as important is your audio. I swear I was playing on mute for my first few weeks. The footsteps are your lifeline in this game. They are free information. You have to hear an enemy coming before you see them. Go into your audio settings, find a mix that boosts footsteps. Presets like headphones or mixes that boost high are often good places to start. Be warned, this can change with major updates. The best advice is to experiment with a couple of them after a new season drops, to at least see what gives you the clearest audio cues for footsteps. Getting this right will feel like you suddenly developed a superpower. Finally, let's talk sensitivity. So many new players either copy a pro's insane settings and can't hit a thing, or they stick with the slow default and can't turn on a guy that's shooting them in the side. There is no single best sensitivity. The goal is comfort and control. I suggest you start around a 6.6 or a 7.7 sensitivity. Heading into the firing range, just practice snapping between the targets. If you're constantly flying past your target, lower it. If you feel like you're dragging your mouse or your console stick through the mud, then nudge it up. Also, pro tip, consider turning off controller vibration. While some people like the feedback, most competitive players ditch it because it can shake your aim at the worst possible moment. Fix these settings. Trust me, just do it. You won't regret it. Section 2, relearning how to move. Stop being a free kill. My settings were dialed in. I could see and hear everything clearly, but I was still getting sent back to the lobby. The problem wasn't my setup anymore. It was me. I was moving like a bot, just sprinting in a straight line from building to building, practically begging to be sniped. And I learned the hard way because in Warzone, movement's life. First thing to burn into your brain, never run in a straight line out in the open, ever. You're an easy kill for someone you can't even see. The basics of better movement are constantly mixing up sprinting, sliding, and jumping. Slide into cover, jump peek corners. The goal is to be unpredictable. But the technique that really separates is a slide cancel. The way this works changes from time to time, at least with patches. But the core idea is the same. It's when you start sliding and immediately cut it short by either jumping or aiming, letting you pop up ready to shoot. It makes you a much harder target to hit. And on controller, it can even break an opponent's aim assist. It lets you challenge corners way more aggressively, common way to do it is to start a tactical sprint, hit your slide button, and immediately tap jump. This gets you back on your feet. It's going to feel clunky at first. You will mess it up a lot, but spend about 15 minutes in a private match practicing the slide jump. Once it's muscle memory, you'll be what players call breaking cameras, getting around a corner and shooting an enemy before they can even process that you're there. While it may not be the single most important technique every season, right now it's a critical tool for winning those close quarters fights. Section 3 is all about winning your 1v1s. It's the art of the fight. So my settings were clean, my movement is now slippery, but I was still losing some of those head-to-head 50-50 gunfights. This was the final piece of the puzzle that I had to relearn to actually take a gunfight. And it had less to do with raw aim and more to do with being smart. Just keeping your crosshairs placed where you think that the enemy is most likely to pop out or be. When I was new, I never understood this. I would run around corners with my crosshairs pointing anywhere, and it was wasting precious time to aim up to their body and start shooting. So instead of keeping your crosshairs wherever, keep them at head or chest level as you move, especially before you enter a room or go around a corner. Your time to kill will plummet because you're no longer aiming then shooting. You're just shooting. You have to know when to aim down sights and when to hip fire. I used to ADS for every single fight. A good rule of thumb is if an enemy is right in your face within a few meters, hip fire and use your movement to your advantage. For fights at a distance, you ADS for accuracy. Remember, this depends heavily on your weapon build. An SMG built for hip fire can be effective at longer ranges, while other SMGs with fast ADS times are better off aiming down sights, even up close. It's a fact. Finally, winning more gunfights is about using your brain. It's about your positioning. It's about your trigger discipline. Don't take fights that you know you're likely to lose. An enemy on a rooftop has a massive advantage over you in the street. Don't challenge that. Rotate, find a new angle, and try to get on even ground. Better yet, take the high ground yourself. Just because you see an enemy 100 meters away doesn't mean you should start blasting. You'll probably just give away your location. Only shoot when you have a real chance of getting the down. And remember, getting your custom loadout is a massive power spike in every match. Your custom weapons are way better than the ground loot. So make getting your loadout a top priority, keeping in mind that the cost and availability can change depending on which season or if you're playing ranked. Don't know why that matters, but it does. Certain people play different ways. If these tips are helping you, hit the like button, subscribe for more guides, and let me know in the comments, what is the one thing that you struggle in Warzone right now? I read all of them, and I want to help you out. I'm no longer the guy getting caught sprinting in the open. I'm dictating the fight, I'm using movement to create an advantage, and my settings are crystal clear, giving me all of the info that I need. My gunfights feel 10 times better from centering and positioning. The journey from a total bot to a confident player really comes down to those three things: fixing my settings, mastering my movement, fighting smarter, not harder. I'm not a pro. I'm not dropping world records, but I went from being a guaranteed first round out to someone who can confidently take fights and win my 1v1s. And if I can do it, then you can absolutely do it too. Thanks for watching. Go get wins. We'll see you guys later.